The strange death rituals of the Habsburgs, the separate heart burials. Death rituals provide a powerful insight into how societies perceive mortality, spirituality, and legacy. Among the most unusual dynastic traditions in European history was the Habsburg practice of separating and burying the heart from the body of their monarchs. This custom, carried out for centuries, left Vienna with jars containing the preserved hearts of Habsburg rulers, still housed in the Augustinian Church today. The practice of heart burial emerged in the Middle Ages, rooted in both practical and spiritual concerns. Before embalming techniques were advanced, transporting royal bodies across long distances posed a challenge. In some cases, separating the heart or entrails allowed for partial burials at different religious sites. For the Habsburgs, who held lands across Austria, Spain, Italy, and beyond, such a practice reinforced their dynastic presence across multiple sacred spaces. It also symbolized a ruler's dual loyalties, their body to the dynasty and their heart to God. By the 16th century, this practice had become institutionalized in the Habsburg dynasty, codified into their funerary rites. Habsburg monarchs often underwent a triple burial system. The body was interred in the imperial crypt, Capuchin crypt, in Vienna. The heart was preserved in silver urns and placed in the Hausgruft, heart crypt, of the Augustinian Church. The entrails were deposited in the ducal crypt beneath St. Stephen's Cathedral. This unusual practice divided the monarch physically among Vienna's sacred spaces, reinforcing dynastic authority across the city and ensuring a perpetual presence at multiple sites of veneration. The separation of the heart had deep religious symbolism. In Catholic tradition, the heart was seen as the seat of love, devotion, and piety. By placing their hearts in the Augustinian Church, the Habsburgs emphasized their personal devotion to God and their role as defenders of the Catholic faith. The choice of the Augustinian Church was significant. It was closely tied to the imperial court and the spiritual life of Vienna. The silver urns containing the Habsburg hearts symbolized both humility before God and eternal remembrance of their dynastic piety. Beyond theology, the ritual had a clear political meaning. By spreading their remains across different crypts, the Habsburgs maintained a perpetual presence in Vienna's religious and civic identity. The triple burial acted as a physical map of their authority. The Capuchin crypt represented dynastic continuity. The ducal crypt reinforced ties to Vienna's cathedral and civic pride. The heart crypt connected rulers to personal devotion and imperial spirituality. This ensured that Habsburg monarchs were remembered not just as rulers, but as devout Catholics whose authority extended beyond death. One of the most famous examples is Emperor Charles VI, who died in 1740. His heart was placed in the Augustinian Church, while his body lay in the Capuchin crypt. His daughter, Maria Theresa, continued the tradition, though she famously requested that her body be placed in a simple coffin, reflecting her personal piety. Her heart, like those before her, was enshrined in the Hausgruft, symbolizing devotion to God above all else. Over time, the collection grew. Today, the Hausgruft contains 54 silver urns holding the hearts of Habsburg rulers, empresses, and archdukes. Each urn is inscribed with the name of the deceased, creating a gallery of devotion and dynastic continuity. Visitors can still see these urns, a haunting reminder of the dynasty's strange blend of politics and spirituality. The Habsburgs were not alone in practicing heart burial. The French monarchy also engaged in similar rituals. The hearts of French kings were often buried separately at monasteries. Richard the Lion Heart, the English king, famously had his heart buried in Rouen Cathedral while his body lay in Fontevraud Abbey. Yet, what sets the Habsburgs apart is the systematic, dynastic nature of the practice. While other monarchs occasionally separated their hearts, the Habsburgs institutionalized it, making it a defining feature of their funerary identity. The practice of separate heart burials declined in the 19th century, as attitudes toward death and burial shifted. Advances in embalming made it easier to transport intact bodies, while Enlightenment rationalism challenged elaborate rituals. The last Habsburg to have their heart placed in the Hausgruft was Archduke Franz Karl in 1878. After that, the practice fell into disuse, marking the end of one of Europe's most unique dynastic traditions. The jars of Habsburg hearts still preserved in the Augustinian Church are more than relics. They are symbols of how the dynasty wished to be remembered. They reflect the blending of Catholic devotion, dynastic politics, and personal identity, showing that even in death, Habsburg rulers remained inseparably tied to both God and empire. For modern observers, the ritual illustrates the complex relationship between religion and power in early modern Europe. It also demonstrates how dynasties sought to craft their legacy through both life and death. The Habsburg death ritual of separating and burying the heart offers a unique lens into the dynasty's worldview. By enshrining their hearts in the Augustinian Church, the Habsburgs emphasized devotion, reinforced political authority, and ensured perpetual remembrance. While strange to modern sensibilities, the ritual symbolized the dynasty's power and piety, intertwining their fate with Vienna's sacred geography. In the jars of silver that still hold their preserved hearts, we glimpse not only the physical remains of emperors and empresses, but also the enduring legacy of a dynasty that sought to rule in life, in death, and in memory.